yes, my Straight Talk family, I will keep moving on because it's past the time for me to say a wonderful, wonderful, pleasant night to all of you, wherever you are in St. Kitts and Nevis, and wherever you are around the world, my Straight Dog family. And in particular, first of all, I should really reach out to the entire Caribbean region, because we sometimes get all the way down south to the mainland in Venezuela and Guyana. Trust you'll settle those differences peacefully. How's Barbados? St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, Grenada, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda. Don't forget Montserrat. How's my brother Paul? Haven't heard of you for a long time. The Honorable Paul Lewis and the entire Montserrat posse. And we go, did I say Antigua and Barbuda? Yes, I believe I did. Go to St. Eustatius. I couldn't remember Sabre a few nights ago, believe it or not. I did remember St. Bart's though. St. Martin and Anguilla, the BVI, the Tola and Igada, Virgin Gorda, the USVI, St. Thomas Petty, how are you on that hill up there? St. Croix, haven't been in that neck of the woods for a long time. Haven't heard from Jackie neither. Puerto Rico, también. Hay mucho tiempo no visitar. And yes, it's Thanksgiving in North America and other parts of the world, my Straight Dog family. And as well, we reach the entire diaspora wherever you are in Africa, Asia, Europe, and a whole lot of you are all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I will say good morning, and I am going to say good afternoon as well, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And I thank all of you for sharing our link, because we do get first-timers each time around. And it's my duty to inform the first-timers in particular that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let us, in the process, my Straight Talk family, strive to get St. Kitts and Nevis back to that enviable position of being number one or one of the freest countries in the world. It's a hard ask, it's a tough ask, especially with the sort of leadership that we have at this time. But on this program, in the meanwhile, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And my Straight Dog family, as your host, I will continue to pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And I'm always reminded of the words of this hymn. And I try to find the actual hymn in our hymnal, the Moravian hymnal. I couldn't find it. Perhaps it's an old one. But it goes something like this. We are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. Absolutely nothing is watered down, whether by omission, exaggeration. We don't do those sorts of things to make our programs interesting. Straight Talk is not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially if it's going to come at the expense of accuracy. Because I consider it my duty to always present the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance in St. Kitts and Nevis. So through this program, we are also joined together with people all across our federation and in the diaspora all around the world. Some we know very well, others we do not and may never ever meet them. Some will agree with the positions of truth that are advanced on this program, and some will obviously disagree, and that's fine. But what will sadden me, my Straight Dog family, is if we start to become disagreeable. So let us thank Almighty God nonetheless for helping us to understand how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And let us hope and pray. Look forward to the day when once again we will sing His praise together as one. Welcome again, my people. And again, for the first timers, I must also inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. That I mean, we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded to call, the numbers are 663 or 646-829-6672. That's a local number and an overseas number. And there's some who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. So we give you access via our email platform, and the address is Straight Talk Patches. That's one word, STRAIGHTTALKPATCHES@gmail.com. I thank those who submit their emails to this program. I thank you for keeping them clean as well. And I must say a special welcome to the Junior Brigade, young Dwayne, Tristan, Shama, Kevin Handy, Hale, the special people all over North America, and this church member, fellow member of church, always reminds me to heal up a family in North Carolina. I was Atlanta tonight, and there's a special lady in St. Louis. I know she's not going to be eating any turkey. She's a vegan. A vegan, we call them? Vegan, yes, we call them. Hello, my dear, lovely, special lady in St. Louis. I almost let the cat out of the bag just now. And if there are any obituaries, I haven't heard of any that I know. If you know of any, apart from those who were slaughtered yesterday, we extend condolences to the family of all those who have lost loved ones, and we pray and trust that you will take everything to the Lord in prayer. My thesis tonight I have titled The Snake Mark Hoodwinks of Fibbing-Drew. And I will discuss my thesis, after which I will include your calls and your emails, but we normally examine our observations in review, and which are an integral part of our program as well. And this is a time when we highlight the current issues and we do some reflection. We may ask a few questions such as what was accomplished, how has it helped others, what has changed since we raised those observations, and what can be expected next, what we have learned. It's a learning process, very important. What new we have learned as a people. And my first observation, my Straight Dog family, relates to yesterday, the 22nd day of November. And you all know by now it was the birthday of our Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Michael Drew. And we here at Straight Talk wish Dr. Drew a belated birthday. We do wish him a belated birthday. The country was expecting, my Straight Talk family, the country was expecting a special announcement yesterday, as it was rumored far and wide that there was going to be good news concerning the payment of a CBI dividend, perhaps, and or a double salary for government employees. But much to the disappointment of many, the only announcement came via the Dr. Drew's Facebook page in the form of gratitude via a post which he made and which read, my Straight Dog family, as you can glean, it read, I'm trying to find that post myself. It's read, my Straight Dog family, greetings, grateful and honored for, or rather to celebrate another year of life. Thank you for entrusting me with the privilege of leading this beautiful nation. Your support fuels my commitment to building a brighter and more sustainable future for our beloved country. Thank you for all the birthday greetings and outpouring of love. Here's to another year of progress and shared success. Together we thrive. Not certain if we all concur with that, but happy belated birthday nonetheless to our Prime Minister, Dr. Drew. But the post was taken down expeditiously, quickly, when this sad news went viral on all media, my Straight Dog family, and as reported by ZIZ's Carla Berridge just yesterday as well.
2 homicides were committed on Wednesday when a double murder occurred in the St. Peter's area. 3 persons were shot, according to police. 2 died on the scene and the other was transported to the Joseph and France General Hospital. This follows Sunday's shooting death of Wilbert D. Pemberton, also in St. Peter's, in the vicinity of a mechanic shop. Police say he was accosted by an assailant while walking down the road and shot multiple times about the body.
My Straight Talk family, this ironically followed a press briefing the day before when Commissioner of Police Sutton had this to say, my Straight Talk family.
I stand before you as Commissioner of Police with a heavy heart, addressing the recent tragedies that have befallen our communities. 2 shooting homicides that has left us all deeply saddened. Our first and foremost priority is to express our heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of the victims. These senseless acts of violence have left an indelible mark on our community, and we share in a collective grief that have befallen us. Our dedicated law enforcement teams are working tirelessly to bring those responsible to justice. We are committed to a thorough and swift investigation, collaborating with all relevant agencies to ensure a comprehensive understanding of these incidents.
My Straight Talk family, Dr. Drew, however, was not concerned as Minister of National Security and the fact that 3 of the victims of these senseless killings came from his constituency. And the murders occurred in his constituency. Dr. Drew, however, continued to lavish in the moments he spent with his Muslim brother in Saudi Arabia. Believe it or not, my Straight Talk family, because he actually, in fact, had posted this on his Facebook page as well, which reads, Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, after a wonderful Saudi dinner and thought-provoking conversation, my Straight Talk family, it was my first time, he continues, my first time having camel milk. I said, what? But overall, he continued, this was a very successful visit that will surely benefit our two nations. Read that Facebook post from Dr. Drew. My Straight Talk family, it was widely reported that agents of the Saudi government, at the behest of this same Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, assassinated, hear me well, assassinated Jamal Ahmad Khashoggi, who was a Saudi journalist, a dissident, author, columnist for Middle East Eye and the Washington Post. And Khashoggi was also the general manager and editor-in-chief of Al Arab News channel and was assassinated at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on the 2nd of October 2018. By the 16th of November 2018, the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, had concluded that Mohammed bin Salman ordered Khashoggi's assassination. The murder, till this day, has created tensions between the United States of America and Saudi Arabia, including calls for the U.S. to sever diplomatic ties with the kingdom. But Dr. Drew has boasted of being the only CARICOM country to establish ties with Saudi Arabia and invites those like himself and his Attorney General, Garth Lucien Wilkin perhaps, who can afford it, to make use of the visa-free access, my Straight Talk family, to enter Saudi Arabia. And in the event we lose our Schengen visa-free access to Europe, Dr. Drew reminded us that we can go to Saudi Arabia.
This government has taken the decision to take all the necessary measures to protect our country, respect to the security measures as far as the CBI program is concerned. We know that the Europeans have concerns and we have met with them. We said to our international partners in the UK, in the EU, or wherever they are, that St. Kitts and Nevis is serious about that. And as you can see, St. Kitts and Nevis is the only Caribbean country that I know of who just recently got visa-free access to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That was a serious and a significant foreign policy win for St. Kitts and Nevis. And just to update, I'll be traveling to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia sometime next week. So if you want to go to Saudi Arabia, you don't need a visa. You have to do, I think it's the ETA, and you travel. Somebody else from within the region, they have to get a visa.
Yes, my Straight Talk family. And if you want to drink camel milk, I said, camel milk. I guess it's a dainty for Drew. Let's go to Saudi Arabia, my Straight Talk family. My second observation relates to my former cabinet colleague, Lindsey Grant, who was found guilty and fined at the Bastia Magistrate Court on 2 counts of transgressing the law, according to a report I read from, I listened to from the SKN Newsline. I didn't get time to pull it up. But I must say that I'm happy for Lindsey Grant, as it could have been a different outcome. But it is my hope that Lindsey can continue his life, perhaps outside of politics, who knows. But I will implore him to turn this negative into a positive. Because with his legal training, for example, he can become an advocate for the rule of law and a strong opponent to the rule by law, which has become commonplace in our country, especially under this Drew administration. So, Lindsey, you can find something to do in terms of ensuring that we are not ruled by the law, but we are governed by the rule of law. And our observation, my Street Dog family, we are still following the distribution of the big water buckets, my good friend prefers to call them, that were distributed by Cashley Allers. And we can confirm that no pumps were delivered to residents in Stapleton that benefited from the buckets. And this is contrary to what Allers said to the nation some time ago. Remember, he said this, my Straight Dog family.
You're getting a tank, you're getting a pump, you're getting housing for the pump. You're casting the platform with concrete to rest it the tank on. The fittings come with a smart head. You're talking about almost $12,000 value.
And that's what he said. Almost $12,000 in value. Who is he fooling? Is a question I'm sure many will ask my Straight Dog family. But recall that in violation of the Procurement and Contract Administration, this is what happened, my Straight Dog family.
We have sent the fire truck, we have sent the water truck. We continue to send the fire truck, we continue to send the water truck. We have signed a contract to purchase water storage tanks. So at least when the water truck goes, they have a larger receptacle to store the water. I would also like to thank Mr. Ashley Allers, because he's the one who brought the idea of how we can help with the storage receptacles that we're going to launch.
But my Straight Dog family, here are residents, and there are residents that have benefited from these $5.8 thousand big buckets, but no pumps. And this was confirmed just yesterday with a tour of the area. There are no pumps, no pipes, etc. My Straight Dog family. So we are following this story. We are not going to let it die until we ascertain, my Straight Dog family, that this rip-off deal, the rape of the treasury, is not going to happen again. Garth Lewis and Wilkin must tell us whether this violation of the Procurement Act was criminal, and we ought to do something about that. But my Straight Dog family is 7:32, and I'll hasten to move to my thesis. Those are my observations in review tonight. And as I had intimated earlier, I have titled my thesis, The Snake Mark Hoodwinks of Fibbing-Drew. And I'm sure you all will recall, those of us who are familiar with island living in particular, that there comes a time, or there is a time in the morning when light begins to appear and we can hear the neighbor's cock, yes, a male chicken, be careful, crowing, making a sound. If you keep roosters, as some people call them, on your property or live near someone who does, you're likely quite familiar with the sound of their crowing. A cock's or a rooster's crow is often heard far and wide. And my straight family, they don't particularly care who they disturb. And this is one of the reasons I'm sure that many cities and towns have ordinances against having roosters, even if they allow chickens. I stand to be corrected, but here in St. Kitts, Nevis, roosters and chickens are outlawed, especially in residential areas, because they can be a noise and health nuisance. But I want to focus for a bit on the chickens. And I cannot be certain if this is factual, but I have always heard this old saying, which goes like this: the hen that cackles first lays the egg. And this is no coincidence in politics, as that snake from Nevis, like a loudmouth hen in a high voice, started to spread false news that information would be revealed or will be revealed about the CBI. I just want to jog your memories and remind you of this, my Straight Talk family.
And I'm sending a clear signal tonight. I was foreign minister of this country for 7 years. I sat in a government for 7 years. I believe that the former leader of St. Kitts and Nevis, the man who headed my government and cabinet, need to sit down and hush him out about CBI. Go sit down and hush him out about citizenship by investment. Talk about other things, but leave that one day alone, because I am telling you now, some information is going to come to light and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pleasant. So I am saying respectfully, go sit down, talk about other things, but leave that one day alone, because too many problems were created in that program because everybody was there, glad-handing and winking and nod. Everybody was drinking champagne and getting Louis Vuitton luggage and expensive watch and shoe. Stop what they're doing. The program is important to us. Let us all protect it. Let us all protect it and stop this effort to destroy it, because when you destroy it, what else?
Another one who doesn't remember signing a $54 million contract. Yes, he does. A $54 million contract was signed by this former minister, but he does not remember. But there's still no golf course at La Valley. And like a hen, beg your pardon, he started to cackle as well. He started to cackle loud and clear.
News is going to be coming, which is not going to be good news for some people in this country and for their friends and cohorts in other countries, because the world out there has said, look, hundreds of millions of dollars have been bled out of the pockets of the people of this country because of bad leadership and slackness, and even worse in the CBI program. And Junie and Sam and Patrick and ladies and gentlemen, it is all now coming to a head. The perpetrators will face justice. If they do not face justice here, let them dare jump on a plane. They will face it elsewhere.
Well, I learned today that the former Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, postponed his anniversary service. Yes, I learned that he postponed his anniversary service as you can as well glean from that posting there, that there's a new date for our parliamentarian Honorable Timothy Harris, or there should be Harris's 30th anniversary church service. And it reads, dear constituents, supporters, and well-wishers, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, as part of his 30th anniversary celebration as a parliamentarian, invites you to worship with him on Sunday, 10th December 2023, at the House of Deliverance, New Testament Church of God in Tabernacle at 10 a.m. Our party leader looks forward to seeing all of you to commemorate this historical occasion with him. See you there. Read this notice. When I asked my Straight Talk family, why was this postponed? I was told that Timothy Harris had gone to America. So I wonder if this second hen that was cackling could tell us if Timothy Harris caught a boat to the United States of America. Because he suggested he couldn't go by the plane, or he couldn't even go to the USA. In the meanwhile, though, I am wondering if this criminal that the snake Mark Brantley introduced to the cabinet and who negotiated a $10 million rape of the Nevis Island Treasury over a 2-year period. I am wondering if he has already retracted his allegations. My Straight Dog family, has he retracted his allegations as it relates to the letter that was posted? And has he apologized in terms to be approved, my Straight Dog family? This was a condition of the lawyers acting on behalf of former Prime Minister Harris. And you can glean, my Straight Dog family, that the charges we are told that were laid were false. And he had to retract in accordance with the conditions laid, and a claim would be filed in the court. We haven't heard anything from the two hens that cackled earlier. Neither have we heard anything else. Everything seemed to go on quiet. And Straight Talk is following that story, and we will keep on top of it as time progresses, and I'll keep you informed. But of course, the deadline was Tuesday the 21st, and we don't know what has happened, my Straight Talk family. And as we have also said, that this criminal who was introduced to the cabinet by Mark Brantley, we understand should have produced 6 movies, and we wonder how many he has produced thus far. But, and yes, I would say, my Straight Dog family, yes, the affirmative. This snake, Mark Brantley, speaks about the young men and their attitude. And yes, we cannot condone or overlook that, because I personally strongly believe that the attitude determines altitude. But what about each of us and our contribution to this scourge of crime? I asked that question. What about our contribution, my Straight Dog family?
I believe that our crime here is driven by other factors. And one of the principal factors, in my humble opinion, is the attitude of our young people, especially our young men. But I reflect that if it is true that they say that a community raises a child, what kind of homes, what kind of communities are raising these children? But I feel that all of us need to spend some time in reflection and determine what is our own contribution to this deterioration that we have witnessed in some sections of our society.
And yes, my Straight Dog family, when you would have done your reflection, Mark Brantley, you must agree, you must concur that Barbados did their due diligence, then declared Philippe Martinez as a persona non grata, meaning he was unacceptable, he was not welcome in Barbados. And in the heart of COVID-19, with our borders closed, like the snake that you are, you welcomed him with open arms and provided accommodation to this convicted criminal who is selling our citizenship, selling our passports, our patrimony. You then introduced this criminal to Dr. Drew. You did, Mark Brantley.
Mark Brantley, who is the Premier of Nevis, wanted to diversify the economy.
Yes, there is a financial arrangement with MSR. I believe the number is $150,000.
We are prepared to do 35 films over the next 5 years. Along with our development, we are finalizing the purchase of a hotel in St. Kitts so that we can have a base to produce and train people in St. Kitts.
Yes, and and as we have spoken before, that you will definitely have our support.
And what was the support provided by Dr. Drew? A state secret. A state secret. Do you want a whistleblower? Are there whistleblowers? Come tell straight talk. But that is your contribution to crime in St. Kitts Nevis, Mark Brantley. As white as the color may be, whether white collar crime or not, crime is crime by any definition. And that is Mark Brantley's contribution to crime in St. Kitts and Nevis. And because Mark Brantley hates Timothy Harris, he's trying to create his own history by chatting nonsense. Nonsense like this, my Straight Dog family. This is the kind of nonsense he peddles.
Under every single prime minister we've had, perhaps with the exception of Sir Kennedy Simmons, crime has been a problem. Labour campaigned and said, oh, Simmons, them have crime, let us put us in. Under Douglas, crime went to all-time highs. Team Unity came in on crime the first year also of Team Unity. I think we had one of the highest murder rates in St. Kitts in history. I was a part of that government. We then came up with the peace program. And whilst that program was controversial, and I thought that that program, if it were properly managed, could really have diverted people and given them a second chance in life. Instead, that program did not quite go the way that persons like myself thought it could have gone. Crime started to rear its head again. And then, when Prime Minister Drew has taken over, our fourth Prime Minister, crime again. So with the exception perhaps of Sir Kennedy, crime has been with us through successive administrations.
With the exception. Was he on Booby Island, my Straight Dog family? Read the Washington Post from 1996, my Straight Dog family. You can go online and you will find it. Read the Washington Post, Mark Brantley, and you will read this excerpt from the Washington Post, an article written by Douglas Farah. And it reads, dated September 23, 1996. St. Kitts and Nevis, a sleepy federation of 2 islands with 46,000 people, has seen a rash of drug-related murders in the past 2 years. In June 1994, Billy Herbert, a former ambassador to the United Nations who had been implicated in money laundering, sailed off with his wife and 4 friends, and all vanished without trace. 2 months later, the article continues, Vincent Morris, son of Deputy Prime Minister Sidney Morris, and his girlfriend, who was suspected of stealing drugs from a local smuggler, were murdered. Their bodies were found burned in a sugar field. 6 weeks later, shortly after that, Jude Matthew, the police inspector investigating the killings, was murdered. Officials said the murders were drug-related. Where was Mark Brantley? Was he on Booby Island when he's talking the nonsense? Give Timothy Harris, my Straight Dog family, the credit that is due. Mark Brantley wanted to intervene as he likes with the peace or the alternative lifestyle program without going through the process, even with the committee in Nevis. But the facts are that Terence Michael Drew inherited the lowest crime rate in nigh 15 or 20 years from Timothy Harris. And he made that confession himself, my Straight Dog family. This was the confession of Terence Michael Drew.
We are happy that crime statistics have continued to be at an all-time low, particularly in terms of gang-related homicides. The Ministry of National Security has set as a target the downward trend in homicide from the previous 15-year low of 10 to a single digit. A target is also set for improving the major crime detection rate by 15%.
And that was only a talk, ambitious talk. But crime will continue to surge as long as Dr. Drew continues to politicize the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis police force and allow some within that force to undermine Commissioner Sutton. Look at this, my Straight Dog family. Look at this. And this is what we talk about. Look at this. This reopening of applications, my Straight Dog family. To all inspectors, it reads, application for promotion to superintendent. The Ministry of National Security is moving expeditiously to improve the leadership and fill emerging vacancies at the superintendent level within the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. In this respect, you are invited to express an interest in being promoted to a higher rank within the organization. In addition, police officers may not be selected for promotion, beg your pardon, to the rank unless he or she has obtained a pass in the advanced qualifying examination. For the past 2 years, immediately prior to his or her promotion to the rank of inspector, and while serving in that rank, did not have any disciplinary penalty imposed on him or her other than a reprimand. And 3, they must be confirmed in the rank of inspector for 2 years. Police officers wishing to seek promotion to the rank of superintendent must demonstrate 2 years competency in their current rank and possesses satisfactory evidence of competence to perform at the rank they are applying for. Possession of 1 satisfactory PDR is required. Your application should reach the office on or before 1600 hours on Tuesday, 5th December 2023. No late submission will be accepted, my Straight Dog family. My Straight Dog family, this letter and this reopening of applications is only to accommodate one man who Drew wanted to handpick as Commissioner of Police. He failed his interview. Then Drew insisted that he be an Assistant Commissioner of Police. But he did miserably at that interview as well. As a matter of fact, he did miserably at both interviews. He failed his polygraph tests, both locally and overseas. So what Dr. Drew is doing is just demotivating officers who already did their interviews for superintendent. These interviews were done before. So why is there a reopening of this process? Officers will resign. A matter of fact, a senior one has already gone. And more, take my word tonight, more will go, Dr. Drew. So it is not just escalating crime that will haunt you though, Dr. Drew. I posit the view that as long as we allow Mark Brantley to continue to parade as His Majesty's loyal opposition in our parliament, it is like leaving a venomous snake under your bed and going to sleep, or leaving a spark of fire on the roof and going to sleep as well. Mark Brantley is dangerous to the peace, security, and development of St. Kitts and Nevis as a sustainable island state that all you politicians so glibly speak about. Brantley is a security risk to the nation. He's bad in every facet of leadership you can imagine. Even if Mark Brantley denounces his secessionist orientation, our minds should only be at rest if he is removed from politics in this country, my straight dog family. That's the only how our minds should get or be at rest, my straight dog family. Mark Brantley is a snake, my straight dog family. Mark Brantley is a snake, I said, and nothing but a political opportunist. He would say things to appease the audience he was addressing, like when he said that team unity is the best relationship ever in the history of St. Kitts Nevis. Yes, he said that, my straight dog family. We always provide the evidence.
We have come 4 years after we were elected to serve at the federal level, to report and, of course, to take your questions and get your feedback. To report on what has happened, what has transpired in the past 4 years, and where we feel that we have made some successes, and I'm sure you will remind us of our failures as well. You have most of the cabinet of the federal government here seated, and they have come, and they clearly have come over from St. Kitts, and their very presence here is an indication of the first point I want to make, which is that the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis has never been better. It is the best that it has been in the history of this country. And as someone who is in the middle of it, both from the Nevis end as Premier and sitting in the federal cabinet, I can tell you that there has been a genuine effort to meet the needs of all the people of the country and to provide in a way that all the people of the country can benefit. And I think that that, more than anything else, is to me of tremendous significance.
It had to be of tremendous significance, my people. Of tremendous significance to Mark Brantley. Because, believe it or not, the very last meeting to finalize the Team Unity Coalition, it was held at the boardroom of the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union. Brantley stunned the meeting and almost derailed the coalition, the last process, when he interjected at the last moment, when the way forward was already agreed. When Brantley uttered these words, "Gentlemen," he said, "I heard everything and I agree. But one thing is bothering me, and that is, I have been a devout secessionist all my life. So what will I tell the people of Nevis when Mark Brantley goes on a platform with Pam and any other party from St. Kitts? Terence Michael-Drew, that's the Mark Brantley that I know. I can tell you, and I will tell you more about him in time to come. Terence Michael-Drew, without seeking advice, has allowed Mark Brantley to hoodwink him. You will find out that Mark Brantley is deceitful and always up to some form of political trickery. You, without even seeking guidance from his senior minister and former Prime Minister Douglas, my straight talk family, he hurried, Dr. Joe, or hurriedly, I should say, signed a letter of guarantee and ran to the parliament to table a resolution about geothermal development on Nevis. I would have liked to see how Dennis Douglas would have voted on that resolution. But everybody is asking, how could you trust a snake like Brantley? You, we know, has a one-seat majority in Parliament and only mustered 47% of votes for the leadership of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. You must also remember that the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party only won 45 or 46% of the votes in the last elections, my straight dog family. Yes, 45.75% of the vote of the 29,554 persons that voted, my straight dog family. That's there. You can see for yourself, my straight dog family. The snake, Mark Brantley, nonetheless, is talking about the geothermal resolution and letter of guarantee and money. I do not want to add credence to the things he said by repeating them tonight, because Mark Brantley is such a snake. But Mark Brantley must tell the public that Timothy Harris ensured that he was advanced $8 million from the SIDF for drilling, and no report was done so that he could have moved to the second level of phase of this project. The snake Mark Brantley, remember, made an announcement, I should say, that Nevis will have geothermal by 2018. He said this years ago. 5 years ago, he said this. Why he said this, ask yourselves the question.
So you say that Nevis is going to be the greenest country by the time it's 2018. Tell us about that.
Well, Nevis discovered about a decade ago that we have geothermal energy. And as a consequence of that, we've embarked on a process to try and develop that energy. We are at a point now where we have a commitment from the developers that we should have geothermal energy and be able to offer that to our residents and businesses by 2018. What that would mean, based on our current consumption and based on projected growth and based on the amount of geothermal energy that's available, it will mean that come 2018, Nevis goes entirely green. And that would make us the greenest place on planet Earth. It would demonstrate our commitment to the climate change commitments that have been made globally. But it also would say for us as a small island developing state that as a government and as a people, we're taking our role seriously in saving our planet, in offering a cheaper alternative and a renewable alternative to our people for electricity generation.
Yes, talk is cheap, but whiskey costs money, they say. And my straight talk family, you will hear much more about this geothermal. That was 5 years ago. And 10 years from now, 2033, God's will, if we are all around, you will say that Ian Patches was right. But my Straight Talk family, I'm going to leave you with a section, Annex 11 of the latest IMF Article 4 report on St. Kitts and Nevis. And it speaks to developing geothermal in St. Kitts and Nevis. And this report is dated, I think it's April. I'll get that before we conclude tonight. But it's 2023 report. So it's the last article. Let me put that back on the screen. I'm sorry about that, my Straight Talk family. It is the last Article 4 IMF report, my Straight Talk family. But I'll point you to the annex that's on your screen. Go to section 4. It says multiple resources could be explored to finance this development. Listen carefully. The estimated cost of the first phase are $150 million US, including $30 million for drilling, $60 million for geothermal plant, and $50 million for transmission, my Straight Talk family. The authorities receive continuously recoverable grant from the CDB and are exploring funding with other regional multinational sources. Private funding could also be explored by encouraging private investment through regular incentives and channeling CBI revenue, my Straight Talk family. Joe announced since this report that he got $20 million from Saudi Arabia a few days ago. But that's a drop in the bucket, my Straight Talk family. Apart as well with the technical issues, because those slim hole wells were not maintained, I understand. But my Straight Talk family, the IMF report is clear. $150 million US. That's what? Over $435 million to develop geothermal in Nevis. The resolution is a farce. So too the letter. Jew is a liar. So too is Mark Brantley. But I will say tonight, which will be suffice, Mark the snake, Hoodwinks, a Fibbing-Drew. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it, my Straight Talk family. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your email, my Straight Talk family. But before I open the lines, which I'll do momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others, or I rather implore you. Yes, I anticipate, and I do implore you as well, to respect others, and of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us, in the process, strive to, in the things we say and or do, I should say, let us ensure that they are beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of doing and or saying those things, my Straight Talk family, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. This young, inexperienced Dr. Drew allows the snake, Mark, to hoodwink him, deceive him. He's a Fibbing-Drew, my Straight Talk family. The numbers again are 662 Take that back. 663, my straight dog family. 6672. That's my local number. The overseas line is 646-829-6672. It's 9:07. I go to the lines and say, caller, you're live.
Good night.
Good night.
Patches.
Good night.
Hope you're doing well.
I am peaceful.
I am great. I'm intrigued every time I listen to your program, the information that you bring forward. But the sad thing about it, Patches, is that sometimes you feel like you're talking to a wall. It's not the politicians that pose the problem, huh? It's us, the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, because of the things that we accept. We have too many of us who, because we are benefiting from the politics, we tend to turn a blind eye. There's so many things that are happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. What you're talking about is just a drop in the bucket.
Yes.
Because what you're talking about is not what the ordinary man understands. What you're talking about is not the feeling of the ordinary man, because they don't even know about geothermal and the situation that there is. I remember a few years ago, while Mark was a part of the Unity Construct, I used to write about the things that you saw, and people used to curse. Oh, you want to break up Unity? It's not that. I am not going to be in a situation, not because I support a party, and you see wrong, you're going to accept it and think and put a blind eye to what is happening. There are parents who are losing children, and there are children who are losing parents. This is what the ordinary man understands. The hardship that St. Kitts and Nevis has basically fallen upon Kittians and Nevisians in such a short time. You see, you said, about Mark hoodwinking Dr. Drew. I'm really sorry for Dr. Drew, though. I am so sorry. Because I think he has good intentions. We have not given him a chance to show what he can do, or whether or not he has the ability to do so. But with guidance, I think he would have done better. But the problem with Dr. Drew is that the people who he has surrounding him, these are people who felt that they have been deprived under the Unity Construct. And so they, like all of them, they come now to basically to enrich themselves and want to do it quickly, because they themselves know that Dr. Drew is not competent, he doesn't have the experience. He moved from doctor to running the country, not any understanding of economics, not understanding of accounting. He was a medical doctor, and the areas that he's supposed to be strong at is the biggest problems we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the healthcare system. Our healthcare system is going down a slippery slope. And we, as citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, we are sitting here and we are accepting the nonsense that is happening. We have to keep our politicians' foot to the fire. I remember when Unity was in government, and I used to defend them, because at the end of the day, you saw the difference between them and then. And I defended them because that's what I voted for. I voted for a government that would create an environment that was conducive to growth, that would get rid of the problems, the biggest problems that we had in St. Kitts and Nevis, the crime, the criminal activities that we had. That was curtailed. Whether or not people disagreed with the program never got a chance to work because of the fact that you had COVID and the other factors that came in that affected the program. People don't understand it. It worked. I don't care. Instead of giving away CBI money, that money I felt you should have revisited the peace program. And if they said they could have done better, you have people who you bring in, big advisors who are in the army, all kind of people that you're bringing in. And at the end of the day, we are having more problems now than ever. I really don't want to go down the road. I call it basically to congratulate you, because it's upsetting. It's really, really upsetting that when you look and see, because I have children, and when I look at the future for my children here in St. Kitts and Nevis, it's bleak. And I am not going to call down or bring down any government, because when you do that, we all of us are going to be affected. But at the end of the day, we have to say that they're not capable when they're not capable. This is not politics happening in St. Kitts. There's no leadership. I had my issues with Dr. Douglas, but as a senior member, I don't feel as though that he is playing an integral part in this thing. And that is the thing Drew is making his mistake. You need people who have the experience, not people who are trying to get and beg and pull. That is Mark. I've said that before. I've written.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I know my lines are going, but and it was spoken for a long time. But you said that Drew has good intentions. What brings you to that conclusion when he behaved the way he behaved as he entered into office?
One can have good intentions, but if you're not capable of doing so, your good intentions are just good intentions. Good intentions goes with capabilities and experience. He doesn't have anybody around him who have the capability nor the experience. The people who can help him, just basically turn a blind eye. He has shunned them. And that is why you have Labour people who are complaining big time because of the fact that they felt that they could have, these are people who have experience, who could have contributed, but they're now peeling away because they are not being consulted. The people who are being consulted are people who are trying to enrich themselves. And I know that there are people out there who are trying to get in, and there's so much more you want to say. But Patrice, let me tell you something. 2024 is not bleak. We can't see what's going to happen in 2024. If we continue along this path, I am so sorry. Ministers of governance are not on the island long enough to understand what the problems are. This is like a party. This is like, it's like a movie. But I don't understand what my script, nobody has given me a script yet, so I don't know which part I'm going to play. I just continue to have a great day. I'm going to continue to listen because I know there are other people who have things to say. But we have to be very careful because more sooner than later, you're going to be in big trouble.
Well, thank you very much for your sound intervention. Some will agree, some will disagree with your position, points you advance, but that's what Straight Talk is all about. Having been many time visitors to St. Kitts and Nevis, I read this email. I am considering not returning with my family due to the seemingly out of control violence that is occurring. What has happened to your beautiful nation? Why is it turned into this? Everything that made the island special is being destroyed by the violence that is occurring. I've always spread the word about how special these islands were, but now I can't recommend my special islands to anyone. How sad. Reads this email, my Straight Dog family. This other email reads, Mr. Patches, good evening. What Mr. Bradshaw, Limo, and Mr. Franz failed to do, kudos to Dr. Drew. Labour has 3 seats in Charlestown, a total of 9 in the parliament. Mr. Patches, Dr. Drew got goat mouth. He changed the name of the peace program to Elevate. He slipped it past us. He meant he wanted dead bodies for the phantom investors he said was calling was his usual lies, that should read. Mr. Patches, Elevate is his way of wanting to go past Denzel's 36 in 1 year. He's well on his way. Heaven help us when Nevis get geothermal. That rodent will go back to Nevis. Must be an independent nation. Good night, sir, and God bless. Jump, Jesse Jump is the road march this Christmas. Give Chris the crown now. Reads this email. I'll dispense of some of these emails because they are building up my Straight Talk family. It was very nice of you to play that tape last week, reminding people about the nasty things Brantley has said about Marcella in the house, how she's dunce, how she's not bright, and she is so old and could be his mother. I wonder how he feels now when he has to bow before her and say, Your Excellency, Dame Marcella. That man Mark is nothing but a dangerous son of a gun, is this other email. The member of Nevis, for Nevis 11, Eric Evelyn, make me laugh when he said nobody can ever accuse him of corruption. Well, Eric, the Lady Minister Hazel Brandy Williams, a former minister in the CCM administration, accused all of you in the CCM government of pilfering government resources. And none of you denied what she said. Isn't that corruption? Minister Eric reads this email. This other email reads, when Mark made his stupid, dumb statement at his last month's press conference, stating that no one in the Unity Cabinet ever accused Patches of being bribed, one Freedom Radio employee on air was very gleeful about the senseless remark and repeated it, forgetting that the said Mark Brantley said the same thing about Marcella when she was a member of the parliament, my straight talk family. He said some things about my Congress as well. I perhaps should pull it up, my straight talk family. But it's 9:18, my straight talk family. As I go back to the lines, are you there, caller? Okay, wait. Seem to have missed that call. I'm sorry to have kept you holding, callers. I just wanted to juggle with the emails and as well with the calls. But if you have joined me belatedly, tonight we are looking at the thesis which I labeled my straight dog family Mark. I labeled that, be with me, my straight dog family. I'm juggling so many things at the same time, but I labeled Mark the Snake, Hoodwinks, if Fibbing-Drew. And we looked at what we examined what is happening here in St. Kitts with that snake, Mark Brantley. We made the point as well, my straight dog family, that it is very dangerous, extremely dangerous, for anyone to go to sleep with a snake under your bed. Could you imagine that? Going to sleep with a snake under your bed. And that's exactly what seemed to be happening in our beloved St. Kitts and Nevis. But let's go back to the lines. In the meantime, I'll get back to that. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Sadir.
How are you, my brother?
And how are you, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Well, it's so wonderful to hear you.
Likewise, my brother.
Mr. Patrick?
Mm-hmm.
As the word of God said, oh, give thanks unto the Lord for his good.
His mercies.
For his mercy endured forever.
Mm-hmm.
It shall let the redeemer of the Lord say so, who redeemed from the hands of the enemy. But then that is 107 Psalm. Psalm 34 says, I bless the Lord all times. His praise shall continue my mouth. My soul shall make a boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear it and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord in me, and let us exalt his name together. But tonight I want to say, God is a good God. Up to this afternoon, I've been saying it. God have done something great for me where my heart will make glad. And tonight I am saying to each one and every of us, let us make God our all. Let us pray for St. Kitts Nevis. God is in control, my brother. Proverbs chapter 3. It tell you there, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy pathway. And so, my brother, when the word of God sends signs, he said you mustn't put no confidence in man, nor in the Son of Man. He said put confidence in me. Now I'm saying tonight, Mr. Patel, whatever a man do, we all have to give an account to God for it. But the word of God says the righteous could scarce receive. Where shall the ungodly and the sinners celebrate? We have to pray. We got to pray until the light breaks through. So, Mr. Patel, and I'm saying to you tonight, may the good Lord bless you and keep you. And so, God bless you. Have a pleasant night, Mr. Patel. Bye.
Have a pleasant night as well, my Street Dog family. Always welcome your spiritual interventions, so steeped in the Bible, and I know you love your Psalms. I love them as well, my Street Dog family. And this email reads, Patches, you need to check out the laptop program. Someone whose child went to get one of the laptops, try is weak, says she and her husband went to the school with the child, and about half of them were not working. It got so bad that they had to test the laptops before giving them to the students. Lots of the laptops had to be returned to the Ministry of Education. The parent further said the brand was TCL, and even though she is not an expert in technology, she can see the laptops are poor quality and will not last a year. We are asking Straight Talk to investigate this further, because you would think in 2023, if you are providing laptops, that they should be of good enough quality. Very interesting perspective there, my Straight Talk family. And yes, Straight Talk, of course, will investigate that matter and of the laptops, or referring to the laptops that are apparently of poor quality. My Straight Talk family, again, if you have just joined me, our thesis tonight, I have titled, like I said before, The Snake Mark Hoodwinks a Fibbing-Drew. And there's a time in the morning, as I intimated earlier, that when the light or the light begins to appear, daybreak, you see through your windows, the cock starts to crow, or even before that, the cock starts crowing. And if you keep, as we say, roosters on your property, hens and cocks, chickens, as some people may call them, or you live near someone who does, it's an island thing, you live near someone who does. I'm sure you're quite familiar with the sound of the cocks crowing. And a cock's crow, is often heard far and wide. And these cocks don't care who they disturb, I can tell you. And I know perhaps this is one of the reasons why they are not allowed to, their ordinances, their laws that forbids residents or forbids anyone to have these roosters or chickens in what is called residential areas. But my straight dog family, they are outlawed in most areas. And I focus tonight a bit or more on the chickens. I focus on the chickens because there's an old saying which came to my attention or was brought to my attention by someone who said to me, and it got me excited. It got me real excited when we learned of the saying, the hen that cackles first lays the egg. And you remember this information went viral pretty early about the CBI and the snake Mark Brantley was on his high horse as if he had found gold, my straight dog family. And he went on that this will happen and this, when the information is released, information about the CBI. Because in recent times he has been touting the CBI, my straight dog family. And all of a sudden, people are mashing up the CBI according to him. Another hen, I call it, who does not remember that he spent $54 million. Yes, get that figure right. $54 million. Not spent, he signed rather a contract as Minister of Tourism, or rather as Minister responsible or with responsibility for the Frigate Bay Development Corporation to construct a golf course in the valley. How the hell Frigate Bay Development Corporation gets connected with the valley? Because the Frigate Bay Corporation Act spells out clearly the jurisdiction and the area governed by the legislation. But that wasn't important to the minister. He signed this $54 million contract, and you can drive around the country a million times, a zillion times. I bet you will not find the golf course on or at the valley. And like a hen, he too started to cackle. Remember he said this, my straight dog family.
News is going to become
coming, which is not going to be good news for some people in this country and for their friends and cohorts in other countries, because the world out there has said, look, hundreds of millions of dollars have been bled out of the pockets of the people of this country because of bad leadership and slackness, and even worse in the CBI program. And Junie and Sam and Patrick and ladies and gentlemen, it is all now coming to a head. The perpetrators will face justice. If they do not face justice here, let them dare jump on a plane. They will face it elsewhere.
Well, my Street Talk family, I learned that the man who is referring to actually jumped on a plane and is over in the US where this criminal Martinez is supposed to be residing. And I understand that he's, well, I can't say that. I won't say what I know on that, because that matter is sub judice. But yes, Timothy Harris has actually, my Street Dog family, postponed his service because he has had to travel. But I'll get back to that, my Street Dog family. I'll take this call at 9:33. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding. Are you there, caller?
Good evening, sir. Thanks for telling me the time. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm not bad at all. One of your sound bites that you played earlier this evening was very interesting to me, from a point of misleading. It was a sound bite from Mr. Mark Brantley, my old buddy, and you're saying that one of the worst murder records in the country was in the 2015, I think he said it was.
Yes, 2015. Yeah.
And it's not the first time I've heard somebody say that. I heard a guest on Freedom just about a week ago saying the same thing. I could remember in 2015, yes, they had about 32 murders, but the highest number had been 36, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But in 2015, it was a change of government. And by the 15th of February, which was election day, there were up to 9 murders already. The 9th murder being on the election day itself. Somebody goes Baker's Corner, something got stabbed. So Unity cannot take blame for that. Those 32 that occurred in 2015. And Mr. Brantley, as a minister, should recognize that. But he's obviously trying to make a point. The other thing that I found interesting from Mr. Brantley, my good buddy, that in Parliament recently is talking about the geothermal in Nevis. And he kind of indicated that, I stated that a lot of the hold-up of the geothermal was caused by the cabinet in St. Kitts. One minister in particular, who at the moment, who shall remain nameless, who was more interested in developing geothermal in St. Kitts and was all over St. Kitts digging and poking, trying to find molten lava. I don't know if you know who that person might be. But he said that was the whole of why nothing was done for the duration of the unity government. So he's hoping that things could happen with this new government. It doesn't matter interest, that's humor. It's on the lighter side. How many All Fools Days they have in a year in St. Kitts Nevis?
Well, every day seems to be All Fools Day now.
Oh, you got about a big. I know. I used to know what in April, but I know every month there's a press conference, and I figure that's All Fools Day.
Yes.
But you're quite right. They're obviously more frequent than what we are thinking about. But we have a lot of All Fools Days in St. Kitts.
And you know,
it's about time we stop that stupidness. And be honest.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it is false to say that the resource was not found on St. Kitts, because the geophysical, the geological, and the geochemical studies were done. The 3D studies were done and proved that the report that the resource is on St. Kitts, right? And it's like saying if you plant bananas in Nevis, you shouldn't plant bananas in St. Kitts, which is silly. And the former premier did state, he's on record as saying that both can complement each other. You know.
Well, maybe you should tell Dr. Drew that there are more benefits to be gained.
It's sad when I think about Dr. Drew and the way he operates.
Because even in Parliament, too, I think Dr. Drew said that to feed the St. Kitts electricity department from the geothermal in Nevis, it only takes a 2-mile underground or undersea cable.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more cable than that. It's a lot of miles of cable because you have to run underground from the public generating point down to the sea, get changed to a marine cable, and then go back to underground again from there down to the electricity department.
And that's why
it's miles and miles of cable.
And that's why if you read the IMF report, that's why the cost of estimated cost for transmission is $50,000. It's in the report.
50 million.
50,000. 50 million. Sorry, 50. Yes.
Oh, 50,000 is a giveaway, man. I could do that almost.
Wow, you're on the ball, man. Yeah, 50 million. Yes, 50 million US dollars. That's just for transmission.
It's just not 2 miles, as they were saying in Parliament on this week.
Yeah, and trying to fool people about you can throw a drop card or some nonsense like that, you know?
That's what I tell you. All Fools Days, very frequent in St. Kitts Nevis.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, have a good night.
Thanks for your intervention, my
good program.
Thanks a lot. And really, I want to invite you to all to search for yourselves, and try and find the last Article 4 assessment, Article 4 report, I think it's called, of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I just took the section that relates to geothermal. And that was always the issue as it relates to geothermal. And the IMF has reported, that's there for you to see, my Straight Talk family. Look at Section 4. Section 4 speaks to the geothermal. As a matter of fact, Annex 11, which is an annex, there are quite a lot of appendices to the Article 4 report. And it's Annex 11 speaks to the development of geothermal energy on St. Kitts and Nevis. And it is very clear. It is pellucid. And a friend of mine who like to hear me say, as my old friend used to say, pellucidly clear. But it is very clear, my Straight Talk family. It's pellucid. And it says multiple resources could be explored to finance this development. The estimated cost of the first stage are $150 million. This nonsense about $70 million and $20 million now that Drew is talking about he got from Saudi Arabia. That can't finance the development of geothermal. Read the report yourself. Dr. Drew, you like to refer to the IMF report about somebody hid it. This one is not hidden, as you normally would say. And it says, and I quote here, the estimated cost of the first phase are $150 million US, including $30 million for drilling, $60 million for the geothermal plant, and $50 million to transmit or for transmission. That's mean to move the energy from point A to point B. Like we have the lamp post. You have a generator. You have the generator at the generation plant. Beg your pardon. Up there at Nevis. You have to generate the energy, and then you have to transmit the energy to different homes, different areas. And my Straight Talk family is a talk about the cost of the kilowatt hour or the cost per kilowatt hour of our energy. Over 40 US cents. And for over a year, for 15 months, the Drew administration has held up a solar plant which was already approved by the former administration. The government is continuous. And in that power purchase agreement, the cost per kilowatt hour is 18 cents. So Drew has preferred to pay 40 plus cents per kilowatt hour for energy, and then talking about subsidizing Skelec and subsidizing fuel costs. The cost of energy supplied by the solar plant is 18 cents, which will be fixed over 20 or 25 year period. So who do you think they are fooling? Drew, you are in the wrong place, and you have come at the wrong time. To use your words, this time of polycrisis is not the time for leaders like yourself, Dr. Drew. And that's sad. My Straight Talk family, yes, as I said before, the snake, Mark Brantley, as well speaks about the young men and their attitude. And I will confess that attitude determines altitude. But what about each of us and our contribution to this scourge of crime? Mark Brantley, when you have done your reflection, you would concur, as I said before, and I will repeat it until you get it, Mark Brantley. Barbados declared Philip Martinez, beg your pardon, as a persona non grata. They declared him unacceptable, not welcome to Barbados. And you sneaked him here during our COVID-19 lockdown. And like the snake you are, you welcomed him with open arms, provided accommodation at the Four Seasons Hotel at $150,000 US, $400,000 for him and his team. And not only that, you got him. You were instrumental. You were pivotal in ensuring that he gets this sale finalized for the Ocean Terrace Inn Hotel, and for him to sell our passports. A criminal, imagine, a criminal selling our passports, Mark Brantley. And I asked the question, is your firm, Mark Brantley, the retained as the lawyers for MSR Media Limited? That's the question I'm asking. And that's something you ought to respond to as well, Mark Brantley. You are on or under the spotlight. The people in St. Kitts Nevis, or in St. Kitts, this email reads, have become so comfortable with a failed Drew Labour Party that they don't want to point any fingers at the shame and state of emergency St. Kitts is in. After the double murder, not even double, but look how many murders are happening in his own district. And the sad part about it, it is not one of them Labour comrades are condemning the killings, but the parents could say the child don't get in nothing. There is nothing good that comes from Labour. When Douglas was in there, it's the same thing used to happen. Why did the Labour voters felt as if putting in Dr. Drew would make any difference. Labor is labor. Don't care how you twist and turn it. Just like how society blames the parents, it's just so we the people are going to blame the government, and the head, which is the Prime Minister, reads this email. My Straight Talk family. This other email at 13 before 10 reads, Mark Brantley is not only a snake, beg your pardon. He's a black mamba snake, a very deadly one at that, reads this email. Good evening, Patches. Are you at liberty of saying the name of the police officer of whom the promotion process is being manipulated for? Is it one of the hosts of Policing with You? The public would like to know, because we've been hearing about this issue for some months now, but nobody calling any names, reads this email. And if you can infer, I'll perhaps clear it with you, but the initials are AE, my Straight Talk family. And you perhaps can then tell others if that one hosts the program you said, Policing with You. Is that question asked? I don't listen to that program. I can't recall, but the initials are AE, and I'll tell you about it the next time around. Who is it? My Straight Talk family. But it's a hand-picked officer by Dr. Drew, who wants him in a particular area so he can deal with his security, my Straight Talk family. And yes, for those who may be pondering, this is what we learned. This is what was posted. And, you know, Straight Talk is always on the ball. As I said before, the process, the application process for promotion to superintendent was already completed. But all of a sudden, it is reopened. It is reopened to accommodate a particular officer who had applied for the position of Commissioner of Police, and he also applied and was interviewed for the Assistant Commissioner of Police. And the information that Straight Talk has gleaned, that he did miserably at both interviews, my Straight Talk family. He also failed his polygraph tests, both locally and overseas. What Dr. Drew is doing, however, more importantly, is demotivating officers who already did their interviews for superintendent, Dr. Drew. And you know that. And the chief postal officer should stand up for what is right, what is correct. Officers will resign, or I should say will continue to resign. A senior one has gone. And take my word, many more will go once Dr. Drew continues to politicize the police force. Then you talk about escalating crime. That will haunt us, my Straight Talk family. And I posit the view as we wind down tonight's programming, my Straight Talk family, that as long as we allow Mark Brantley to continue to parade as His Majesty's loyal opposition in our parliament, when you listen to him, As long as we continue to allow him, or he continues to parade, we allow him to continue to parade as His Majesty's loyal opposition in our parliament. It's like leaving a venomous snake under your bed and going to sleep, or leaving a spark of fire on your roof and going to sleep as well. Mark Brantley is dangerous. He is dangerous to our security, my Straight Dog family. He is a security risk to the nation, my Straight Dog family, and to the development of St. Kitts and Nevis as a sustainable island state. That all you politicians so glibly speak about. You speak glibly about a sustainable island state, my Straight Dog family. That's what you do all the time. But Brantley is a security risk to our nation. He is bad in every facet of of leadership in our nation, my Straight Dog family. And as we wind down, I posit the view as well that even if Mark Brantley denounces his secessionist orientation, our minds should only be at rest if he is removed from politics in this country. Why don't they amend the Constitution? Why? Why not? You have 9 votes, 3 from Nevis, and 6 from St. Kitts. If you so love togetherness, you talk about togetherness between St. Kitts and Nevis. You talk about one grid, one national grid to distribute or transmit electricity. So why can't we have one nation forever and move the 113 clause if you are so serious about togetherness? That's what you should do, Mark Brantley, but you won't, because you are a secessionist. You are a snake and nothing but a political opportunist. You said things like this, my Straight Dog family. You said things like this. How could we forget when you said things like this?
We have come 4 years after we were elected to serve at the federal level, to report and, of course, to take your questions and get your feedback, to report on what has happened, what has transpired in the past 4 years, and where we feel that we have made some successes, and I'm sure you will remind us of our failures as well. You have most of the cabinet of the federal government here seated, and they have come, and they clearly have come over from St. Kitts, and their very presence here is an indication of the first point I want to make, which is that the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis has never been better. It is the best that it has been in the history of this country. And as someone who is in the middle of it, both from the Nevis end as Premier and sitting in the federal cabinet, I can tell you that there has been a genuine effort to meet the needs of all the people of the country and to provide in a way that all the people of the country can benefit. And I think that that, more than anything else, is to me of tremendous significance.
My Straight Dog family, as we wind down tonight's program, and I do apologize for the caller. I had you on hold for a bit, but I'll perhaps take 2 more calls before I wrap for tonight. I know there's no impediments for going on and on, but I would like to keep the program within the prescribed time as we have agreed 8 to 10. But I'll take perhaps 2 more calls if you are so minded to call. But yes, as I said, it's been a tremendous significance to Mark Brantley. Because, as I said, and I would repeat it, I need to repeat this before I close tonight, my Straight Dog family, that the very last meeting at which we were finalizing the Team Unity Coalition, it was held in the boardroom. It was held in the boardroom of the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union. I'll take this call and I'll get back to that before I wrap. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Skater, how are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Man, I went out and I rushed to get back home this evening to listen to you. And I get in here rather late, so I don't know if you do my investigation concerning the houses in Antigua and St. Lucia. But anyway, I just want to thank you for another night because you would have taken off the holiday.
I'm glad you reminded me. There are no houses in St. Lucia or Antigua. That's nonsense. But it's your night. You went
somebody from that government was saying that they're building them in St. Lucia and Antigua. So you look for that soundbite and play it.
Okay, but that's for us.
I don't come on Thursday night, but because tonight is Thanksgiving night, we take off for tonight.
Okay.
So I've been trying to call it for the whole night, but the line was busy. So I say, I don't know if the line is not working. Anyway, Mr. Stratak, I'm not going to stay till I'm going to go now. But tonight is my brother and my 2 brothers' birthday and my sister. And I just want you to wish them happy birthday because they listen to your show. Okay. Ivy, Stephen Mills, there in Sadlers, Alvin Mills, there in Bellevue, and my brother, Ivan Mills, there in New Jersey. All right? So I just want to wish them happy birthday for me.
Ivan, Stephen, and Alvin, you said?
No, Ivan Mills in New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
And Alvin Mills in Bellevue Village there, and Ivy Stephen in Sadler's Village.
Okay, my brother. I guess they would have heard you, but I'll just extend that on your behalf as well. But thanks a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
So be good, my brother. See you when I see you.
See you when I see you as well, my Straight Dog family. And yes, to Ivy Stevens over there in Bellevue, he said. To Alvin Mills and to Ivan Mills in New Jersey, from your brother and from the entire Straight Talk family, we wish you a happy birthday. And I thought for a moment, no wonder I wasn't getting my overseas numbers. It just told me it was ringing busy. I wonder why. Okay, something must have been wrong. But nonetheless, my Straight Dog family, I think that's the way we're gonna end it. As I was saying that during our very last meeting, I'll wrap with this one, to finalize the coalition that was held at the boardroom of the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union, Brantley stunned all of us and almost derailed the coalition. Because at the last moment, he interjected when the way forward was already agreed, my Straight Dog family. And I can hear him now. Gentlemen, I heard everything, and I agree with everything he said, my Straight Dog family. But one thing is bothering me, he went on. One thing is bothering me, and that is my Straight Dog family. Let's take this call. Caller, you live. Hello,
yes, Mr. Liburd. How are you doing, man, tonight, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
So talking
just an in-house keeping, man.
Okay.
Yeah. As the caller right before me mentioned, the overseas line was shut out all night.
It was okay.
Yeah. You know, you got some heavy hitters on this side of the equation.
I was wondering if you guys went to have your turkey in the Thanksgiving.
you know your special call up there in New York, man.
Okay.
Mr. Winston, welcome. You know.
Okay, he's shut out.
I know. He shut out. He shut out tonight, but I know he's gonna come in Monday, man, and start firing some more blows again.
I apologize for that, my dear brother. For a moment I said the line was very quiet tonight, but I thought it was.
Yeah, you thought it was just eating turkey up there in the USA, huh?
I thought that. I really apologize. I really apologize for that. Yes.
Yeah, man, but great show like usual, man. And I just want to say thanks to that first caller that called in, that lady, man.
Oh yes.
We need more. We need more people to call in like that. More commentary like that.
Yes.
But Sinkis and Nevis, man, it's a lot to be done there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The crime. My two things right now is the crime and the CBI program still lingering around. So we need that transparency, and we need to keep that crime under control, man. We need to get that back under control, man. I don't know who's gonna do the work, but all hands on deck, man. We can't be just pointing the fingers here and there and everywhere. And right now, the CBI program, what I'm observing personally is like a lot of infighting is going on over that money. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth with the politicians and them. And just before you go, to me, it just seems like across the Narrows right now, Sinkis and Nevis is in a deadlock position right now. You know what I'm saying? The people got to pay attention to that. You know what I mean? It's deadlock across the Narrows right now.
Yes, it is.
That's not good for democracy, man.
Yep.
But but good luck to you guys, man. I wish you have a pleasant night and a pleasant evening, man. And the callers will be coming in Monday, especially on the overseas, if you get that line up and running again.
Yes.
But have a good night, man. And keep up the good works, man. We got to keep a watch on that crime, man, because on the outside world, this is social media time. As soon as a crime happens in Sinkis and Nevis, within minutes, man, it's broadcast over the world. And you know how it is from the international scene. People are just gonna, put that negative spin on you guys and, blacklist you all, and then tourism gonna slide downhill even more. But keep up the good works, man. Keep bringing the information. We appreciate that, man. All right.
My pleasure, my duty, my brother. And thanks for your intervention.
Yeah. Have a good night, man. Enjoy the weekend, man. All right.
Yes. Have a good night as well. Enjoy your weekend, likewise. Thank you, caller. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. Can you use it? Hello, caller. Are they caller? Oh, I did something. Are you there, caller? I did something wrong. So. Blessed night, sir.
Not sermon, I come to be a slave, me a revolution thinker.
Blessed night.
How you doing,
Blessed night, Rasta. I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm thankful for the love of the Almighty, bringing I and I safely within the day and the night and moving forward for another rising in the ancestors and the Almighty Creator. So we'd like to say good night to your listeners via radio and via your server of your call, YouTube, your Facebook, as Facebook media service. Now, blessed is this strength that we realize this just take up our rising crime stage again in our federation of Sinkis and Nevis. We'd like to ask for the appeal of the young ones them to keep their mind more positive and focus in doing ways and means that can create better avenue for development process and not creating these destructive matters that are embracing our values into adequacy towards one another. may I like to ask a question to you as being a former member and seeing the detail that was outlined as, let's say, the initiative that was called to create and cause this crime wave to boot and a down low, as they stated from our standpoint. Was these things really formative to bring a change in the mechanism how we look for the youth them to say they're creating the way of not being violent to one another no more? Because when we look at it, we still see this indication going more outrageous than ever before. And we are saying we are giving youth economics to create a device worthy from the way of them going forward to help build a better way into society. We don't see the progression really showing in. Because I would like to ask, we are the result in, as they say, people were being trained to create economical as an entrepreneur. So I didn't see these things, the value based into them social impact. So I ask wisely, because we use them to change the method how we're doing one another. And that is a forward point that we see in working over here. So I hope that these administration can, let's say, a whole society approach. This is approach from Wasaya, not from the Nyabingi house. I'm talking from a individual aspect right now, because the Nyabingi house have different formats to see what the crime and violence have created again in our society. And we will state this here boldly. We need to tackle the way how we see the money trail evaporating towards our young youth. Blessed night to you. Give thanks.
Give thanks, my brother. Well, you would have I'm sure, gathered that when Dr. Drew, and I'll make that my final call for the night, and thanks for the intervention, Ras Aya, but you would be aware that the program was revised. The name was even changed from the Alternative Lifestyle Program to Elevate, whatever that means. Lots of things were disbanded. You heard this rumor about millions of dollars missing from the development bank, and but businesses were set up. There used to be there was a cooperative, I know, set up in Keon area. I don't know if that still exists. Young men got gainful employment. Some were set up businesses. So all that was changed. The crime rate went down to an all-time low of 10 murders. 10 murders. And this was confirmed by Terence Drew when he came to office. He said this himself. He said that the crime was at an all-time low. This is what he inherited.
We are happy that crime statistics have continued to be at an all-time low, particularly in terms of gang-related homicides. The Ministry of National Security has set as a target the downward trend in homicide from the previous 15-year low of 10 to a single digit. A target is also set for improving the major crime detection rate by 15%.
Yes, he set a target to single digits, but he's going hard for 30. That's not single digits, Dr. Drew. But as I said, that Terence Michael Drew came to that he was not, or he's not seeking advice, or he doesn't have good advisors. What? We don't know. But without seeking advice, no doubt, he has allowed Mark Brantley to hoodwink him. Drew will find out sooner rather than later that Mark Brantley is deceitful and always up to some form of political trickery. Drew, without seeking advice from his senior minister and former Prime Minister Douglas, should ask Douglas, who is Mark Brantley? But instead, he hurriedly signed a letter of guarantee and ran to the parliament to table a resolution about geothermal on Nevis. Everybody is asking, how could you trust a snake like Brantley? Do we know has a one-seat majority in parliament? He only mustered 46 or 47% from his comrades to become the leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. Remember, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party won 45% of the vote. And today, my Straight Dog family, the snake Mark Brantley is talking about geothermal resolution and letter of guarantee and money. But Mark Brantley must tell the public that Timothy Harris advanced him $8 million from the SIDF for drilling, and no report was done. So that could have allowed him to move on to the second level of phase of this project. The snake Mark Brantley, remember, made an announcement that Nevis will have geothermal by 2018. The records are always with Straight Talk, my family.
So you say that Nevis is going to be the greenest country by the time it's 2018. Tell us about that.
Well, Nevis discovered about a decade ago that we have geothermal energy. And as a consequence of that, we've embarked on a process to try and develop that energy. We are at a point now where we have a commitment from the developers that we should have geothermal energy and be able to offer that to our residents and businesses by 2018. What that would mean, based on our current consumption and based on projected growth and based on the amount of geothermal energy that's available, it will mean that come 2018, Nevis goes entirely green. And that would make us the greenest place on planet Earth. It would demonstrate our commitment to the climate change commitments that have been made globally. But it also would say for us as a small island developing state that as a government and as a people, we're taking our role seriously in saving our planet, in offering a cheaper alternative and a renewable alternative to our people for electricity generation.
And that was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, my Straight Talk family, in 2018. And again before we leave, for 15 months, the incumbent administration has not saw it fit to implement the power purchase agreement with Leclanche in relation to 36 megawatts of solar energy that could have reduced the cost from over 40 US cents per kilowatt hour to 18 cents. And that 18 cents would be or is agreed for the entire life of that project, whether it's 20 or 25 years, I don't recall what it was, the Straight Talk family. Now you're telling us about subsidizing electricity. So you can't pay double salary, you can't do this. You could have been paying 18 cents per kilowatt hour over a year ago. So my Straight Talk family, who are you fooling? And I want to implore you as I leave, look at my Straight Talk family, the IMF Article 4 report, and it speaks to geothermal. I presented to you the annex to the report tonight, at Annex 11 of that report. And interestingly, do not be fooled. It says in section 4, the estimated costs of the first phase are $150 million US dollars, over $400 million, including $30 million for drilling, $60 million for the geothermal plant, and another $50 million to transmit the electricity that's found. So don't be fooled about $70 million from the CDB, $20 million from Saudi Arabia alone. Drew, $150 million, $400 million is what you need. So tell us that this report from the IMF is a false report. You are being hoodwinked. Hoodwinked, my Street Dog family. The resolution is a farce. So too the letter. Drew is a liar, and so too is Mark Brantley. But I will say tonight, Mark the Snake hoodwinks a Fibbing-Drew. That's my story tonight, my Street Dog family, and I am not going to change it. But I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, I want to apologize to the overseas callers, those in the diaspora in particular. I wasn't aware. I realized my phone was very silent tonight, overseas line, but I learned belatedly that it was not functioning. I do apologize for that. For those who call locally, those who call, period, locally and overseas, those who send emails, those who just listen, the thousands of you, I want to thank you. And to remind you that you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's spare, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until that time, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Do your chores for the weekend. Have some rest. I'm going to church, God's willing. And my Street Dog family, I am going to remind you that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you just got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Street Dog family, keep moving on. Bye-bye until we connect on Monday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow, down on my knees. The Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day. My God,